Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for joining today's webinar on what's new in Microsoft Dynamics 365. This is Scott Jorgens, Director of Marketing at Endeavour Solutions, and on the line with us we also have Adam Piercy, who will be taking us through today's presentation. For those new to Endeavour, we've been around for 30 years now, celebrating our 30th year this summer. Our three core lines of business: advisory services, implementations, and ongoing optimization and support, training, and helping you get more out of your systems. Our focus is on Dynamics GP and Business Central, CRM, and all of the cloud products, including Azure and Office 365. You can visit us online. We have two websites, one that is CRM-centric at Endeavour365.ca, and the other that is ERP-centric at Endeavour-Solutions.ca. Both sites have links back and forth if you do get lost. Adam, let me allow you to introduce yourself and move us through today's presentation on what's new in Dynamics 365 in March 2019.
Okay, thanks, Scott. That's great. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Piercy. I'm one of the Senior Solution Architects here at Endeavour, working in the CRM space. So like Scott just introduced there, is I'm going to be walking you through what's coming down the pipeline in the next April 19 release from Microsoft. There's a lot to get through today. So kind of fasten your seatbelts, get a drink of water, and at the end we should have some time for some questions as well. So I guess first, this is the agenda for today. This is what we're going to be going through. So we're going to have a look at what CRM is today, how it's different, how it's changed from previous years. We're going to look at the new updates coming for sales, customer engagement, field service, marketing, project service automation, and portals. Then we're going to look at the Power Platform, what that is, what that means, and then we're going to talk a little bit about upgrades and migration paths if you at the end of this. So let's go. So what's new? First of all, what's new is the biggest change to Dynamics 365 than previous years. So say you're on 2011, or you're on 13 or 16. The biggest difference now is this common data service. And if any one of you are looking at Microsoft now, you'll be reading lots about CDS, Common Data Service. But what is it? Well, Microsoft kind of describe it like this. The Common Data Service for Ops lets you securely store and manage data that's used by business applications. Data within CDS for Ops is stored within a set of entities. An entity is a set of records used to store data, similar to how a table stores data within a database. So that kind of makes sense, but doesn't at the same time. So let me kind of break down what this common data service kind of really is. And this kind of little diagram here shows what it is. Microsoft are moving all their business applications away from this siloed infrastructure that's currently there now. So if you're on 2016, for example, you may have that on your on-premise server, and it's almost like an island. It stores data, and you can interact with that data, and it's great for its function and what it does. But as we move forward in the cloud, by connecting all these different line of business applications together, the return on your investment becomes much greater because the data can be shared across different platforms. So if we look at this, everything sits on Azure. Azure is the Microsoft cloud. The Common Data Service is a series of tables that store data that other applications can all read from. And using Powerups, which we'll go into in a moment, and Microsoft Flow, that data can move around. But perhaps we don't want it to move around, but we just want to read from it. We can do some deep dive reporting and analytics using Power BI. Then everything else sits on top of that as a layer. So a very real example of this could be your customer data. So say currently it's being managed by different line of business apps. Moving forward with the Common Data Service, that data can be consumed by all your different apps. So if you have an account in Business Central, that same account data can be used in Dynamics 365, meaning you've almost got one source of the truth moving forward. It's breaking down those data silos of yesteryear in a very real way and thus empowering the cloud and your organizations. So that's kind of what the common data service is. But for Dynamics, how has Dynamics changed with that? Well, Powerups are the new way of thinking about Dynamics. And you may have, again, read about Powerups and you're trying to understand, well, what is a Powerup compared to Dynamics 365? Well, think of it this way. Dynamics 365 now is a Powerup as a model-driven app, which is that image on the left-hand side there. That is the new Dynamics. And we can build different modular apps for different line of businesses who need to consume data within Dynamics 365. So you can have separate interfaces. So you only see what you need to use. So anyone who's on Dynamics, say 2013, the infinite scrolling that goes on in the menu as it drops down, or the one-size-fits-all approach of 2016, using model-driven apps, that's a thing of the past. You get to access your app, and that's the app that you use, and you see the data that is relevant to you and what you need to perform. But it may be that in your line of business, you only need to do one or two things. In Dynamics 365, we call these team members. They just need to perhaps consume one entity and update it. It could be a task or a work order or even a case. But that's all they need to do. Do they really need to go into Dynamics and access it through there? Or are they moving around a bit more? And it makes sense maybe to put it on a mobile device or a tablet. That's where a Canvas app comes in. It allows for much more custom branded experience for individual processes. So say I'm a sales guy on the field and I need to update some stock inventory for our stores. Using a Powerup, I can input the new stock levels that are required. That data from the Canvas app automatically updates the data in Dynamics for the stock controller to see, access, and perform actions against. So it could even be using a Canvas app, because it's a Powerup, and because Powerups have got multiple connectors, we could actually have data stored in an Excel table or a SharePoint list. We could consume that data in our Canvas app and update Microsoft Dynamics. So just to get you guys thinking about that, there are two ways now of thinking about how we interact with Microsoft Dynamics in the cloud.
And Adam, there's subscription licensing implications with that too, with the Teams and Powerups license being cheaper than a full license on CRM.
Yep. So at the end, we can talk a little bit about pricing as well. So Microsoft, you buy now Dynamics 365. You've got your products. You've got sales, project service automation, field service, customer engagement. They're all apps within the common data service. But it could be that you are an XRM. So you need a relationship management piece of software, but it's not one of those. It's not opportunity management, and it's not case management. Well, in that instance, you perhaps need a model-driven app that consumes data from the common data service, and therefore you won't need a Dynamics 365 license. You just need a Powerups Plan 2 license, which is around $50 per month. So a lot cheaper than a full Dynamics 365 opportunity customer engagement plan license. Again, moving forward, if you wanted to talk to anyone here at Endeavour about that, we'd be happy to look at your solution and your business needs and direct you on the best way to go.
Thanks, Adam.
It's okay, Scott. So perhaps one of the biggest changes to Dynamics as we move into what's coming and where we are now is there's a new interface, there's a new look and feel. As you can see here, the menu's now on the left-hand side. It's contextual to me and to my line of business and what I need it to do. It's much cleaner, but the biggest thing is these tabs across the top. So in the old Microsoft form layout, it was kind of an infinite scroll as you scroll down, and it's very hard to know where the data was grouped together or how it was grouped together. Now using these tabbed interface, we move between those tabs. You can see above the fold what information is stored in this form. So that's really useful. You've also got more custom controls as well. So they've enhanced that. You can have radial arcs to display financial data. You've got toggle switches. You can even, in this new interface, embed a Canvas app that we just looked at into a model-driven app. And that's when the whole meta universe starts breaking down in my mind. So let's start looking at some of the updates that Microsoft have launched for their core products. If we think about Dynamics 365, we think about sales, customer engagement, field service, project service automation, and that's what we're going to look at here and some of those updates out of the box. I'm assuming most of you know about the sales platform and what it currently offers. What you may not know is what's coming. And all these updates, as I say, are from April onwards. So first off is this LinkedIn integration out of the box. So Microsoft recently purchased LinkedIn. It was in the news. It was big. And they've been slowly integrating it into the system. However, now, since that purchase, they've really tied it together. And users will now be able to get an overview of a LinkedIn profile information from within the Dynamics 365 interface. You'll see intelligent organizational charts, which will display the info. It'll give you estimated strength of your relationships with contacts and give you alerts when key people change or move companies. So think about that for a second. As a lot of time you've got contacts in your database who are linked to an account or a company, but they move on, but they're still listed as the primary contact against that record, but they're no longer at that company. They're at another company who may actually be a potential person to purchase from. Well, now using this new LinkedIn integration, you'll know when they move, and you know you've got a new lead. You can contact that person, see if you can get another sale. So that's really powerful. And how do you get that? You don't have to do anything. You get it out the box with any Dynamics 365 subscription for sales. So it's quite exciting. Against that, the reason Microsoft have brought that in is because now if you use Inside View or Predict, they're no longer free. They came bundled with Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, but now moving forward from April, you'll need to buy a subscription for those. Teams, so you can now collaborate in Microsoft Teams. I'm going to talk more about that further on in the presentation, but that's very exciting. You've got sales playbooks. Microsoft released this in the October. They released playbooks, that is, and that's the ability to capture knowledge and best practices and then convert those into scripted lists or activities. But moving forward, you'll be able to receive content recommendations by those playbooks. So say, for example, I'm a sales manager. I can provide my team with sales material and update them in real time about any changes to the business. It could be that we've released a software fix, and the sales team, because they're out and about and they're moving around the country, they don't know about this software fix that fixes a number of problems that customers were having. Well, now as they go around to sell this, they can inform customers in real time because it's in their playbook, it's scripted, they've got all the information they need, or it could even be a new feature. They've got everything they need at their fingertips in real time. So that's quite a nice new feature. We've got advanced integrations. Let me just go back. Advanced integrations into configure price quote systems. So if you work in an environment where you've got very complicated products, previously in Dynamics, we would try and map those products to the product entity in Dynamics and help you build it out. And it can be quite cumbersome and quite difficult to match because you could have, I don't know, 5,000 SKUs with any number of different combinations. Well, now using this advanced integration into CPQs, any third-party provider up in the cloud could store that data. Microsoft can read it and configure the quote in Dynamics from one of those integration points. So that's pretty cool. The next one down there is the upload forecasting data. So think about that. So that is, you've got your forecasting data that you set up for the year. you've got an Excel spreadsheet, you can upload that now into Dynamics and be able to compare actual sales and pipeline against that forecast. So these are all new, and there's the enhanced AI as well, enhanced artificial intelligence. So that's just there to help you sell better. It's there to improve relationship strength. If you send an email and you haven't had any response to that email, it gives you a nudge to contact them again. All those kind of nice features. They've just had a bit of a tweak, a bit of an update. So this is how the new interface for LinkedIn would look. And this is how our forecasting data would look. So you can see there how it's nicely broken down and bring data from Dynamics and from your Excel spreadsheet into an interface in Dynamics to be able to read against. It's long overdue and very exciting. Okay. Now we're moving on to customer engagement. So if you deal with customers, this one is for you. So the biggest change to customers is this concept of the omni-channel engagement hub. What is that? Well, we live in a digital age now, and no longer is being reactive enough, and no longer is being reactive on one medium enough or one platform. Customers now demand that if they tweet you, when they call you, that you know about that tweet and you've got the full history and you know everything about that customer, no matter what platform, what channel they contact you on. To combat that, Microsoft have developed this omni-channel engagement hub. It is a one-stop shop with all your data linked to all your different social media accounts, live chat, text messaging, phone systems, where you can see that customer and interact with them in real time. It brings it all together so you can look at it. And not only that, Microsoft then went, you know what, we've invested a lot of money in chatbot technology. So how can we leverage that within this omni-channel and engagement hub? Quite simply, by giving you an out-of-the-box bot designer that anyone can configure. So think about that for a second. You can build a bot that can link into your knowledge articles and answer those low-hanging fruit, frequently asked questions. And when it gets a little bit too complicated for the bot, hand over to a live agent who's sat there on the omni-channel engagement hub, ready to take that call, ready to take over that chat. Frees up your resource. It resolves some of those quick questions that need answering and moves on and keeps the customer happy. It's a great new product, great new feature. And what's important about all that, it comes bundled in your customer engagement plan license. If you're interested in that, reach out to us. We can have a chat. It's coming down the pipe. It's not there yet, but when it's there, it's very exciting. Marketing has had probably the biggest update since October and also coming in the April release. It's a big new product for Microsoft in the Dynamics 365 space. And if you didn't know, back in October, the ability to send out email blasts and develop customer journeys with branching logic was released, and Microsoft has spent a ton of money and a ton of effort improving that. You've now got smart scheduling. You can, and that kind of sets it up to be like some of those other big players in the space. But you can send emails now depending on when that individual, that contact, is most likely to open that email. So make sure that all that effort in setting up that marketing campaign works by sending it when the person wants to open it for the best traction. You've got artificial intelligence automatically adding people to your marketing lists. If I'm interested in something and I'm constantly engaging with you via your marketing efforts, and there's a contact very similar to me and very similar to my likes, the artificial intelligence software will automatically add that individual to that marketing list, highlighting that person as a potential opportunity. They've also released this new concept of landing page personalization. So in your emails, as you send out emails to different people, they all have different wants, different likes, different needs. Say, for example, I want to buy a sweatshirt, and I'm interested in sweatshirts, but I have no interest whatsoever in buying any slacks or trousers. Then when using this new landing page personalization, When I click a link on that website, it'll take me straight to the sweaters, or in England, as we like to call them, jumpers. However, someone else like Scott, he likes his trousers. So when he clicks the very same link, he'll go to the trousers and he'll get served trousers. That's very nice. In October, when they released marketing, it came with a portal, which is the Microsoft Dynamics CRM portal. And it was kind of locked in, and you really needed to understand portals in order to get the forms to work and sit on there. Coming down the pipe, you'll be able to hook up to any other content management system, such as WordPress. So Microsoft understand that you've invested a ton of time already in developing your websites, and you don't really want to then spend a whole heap of time developing another website. Well, moving forward, you don't have to. You develop, you design your concept, your marketing campaigns within the marketing app in Dynamics, and then expose it via another content management system that you already use. And all the data will come into Dynamics as expected. Salespeople can now add to marketing lists. So if they're working with an opportunity and they think this person would be best served by receiving some of our marketing material, as long as that person agrees, they can now add them to the list. Event management is an out-the-box feature of the marketing app, and Microsoft have enhanced that to include now that you get notified when an event is already full, when it's nearing capacity. You can be added to waiting lists, you can set up free events, and you can embed QR codes in emails linking to an event so people can book in just by scanning that QR code. And then something that is really exciting for me is this concept of mixed reality within marketing. What's that? Well, if any of you have got children who play Pokemon Go, you will know exactly what augmented reality is. It is mixing the real world with the digital world, and you can do that through your emails now moving forward. So you could, for example, if you've got a product like a chair, you could allow that individual to look at that chair in their own space, all through Dynamics 365 for marketing. This is how the smart scheduling service looks, and this is how customer journeys look as well within Dynamics. So as you can see, very straightforward. Microsoft really building on this concept of citizen developers. It's not all about code anymore. It's just about logic. So, field service. For those of you who are in the field service space, field service helps you automate your workforce and configure them to go out and work on jobs out in the field. Microsoft are launching the new Optimization Insights section to this. This is a Power BI dashboard that will provide summaries, statistics, all to help service managers schedule and evaluate results, measure resource usage, and compare scheduling objectives. If you're into the Internet of Things, those pretty cool little small devices that can sit in the fridge and tell you when your milk is due for renewal. Following on from the big Azure IoT Central launch last year, and the which is the Internet of Things hosted up in Azure. So there's a big database in Azure. All the Internet of Things talk to that database. Except before, they were kind of separate. Now you can access that all through Dynamics 365. It's fully embedded. That'll help you diagnose issues with devices. You can direct work orders to go and fix and maintenance of those devices. You can get contextual information and background on the issue. And also, there is the field service mobile app that's fully augmented with that IoT data. It gives you the chance to see current readings for any given asset. It also helps you show the reading history and trending for that asset or device to see if it's going to break soon, if it's in good working order, all those different things. Now technicians out in the field will have access to that data in the palm of their hand via the Azure IoT Central database through Dynamics 365. Not only that, you can now issue device commands from within Dynamics 365 to those devices. Say you want to switch off a device, you can switch off that device from either the mobile app or within the Dynamics interface. The commands can be originated in field service, executed through IoT Central. Command is then sent from field service application to IoT Central using Flow. And we'll talk about Flow a little bit further on. But all this is built for you, configured for you, and we are there to kind of help you maximize that investment. There's updated scheduling capabilities. Currently, if you use this feature, you'll know that you always have to reset the people. They always have to start at home. Well, Microsoft have kind of realized the limitations around that. Moving forward, you can now set those resources in different areas. They don't always have to go home. Those areas as well could be outside the country or region. Some cases, those resources might travel to a remote area just once or twice a month, perform work in that area. Now you can, using the interface, you can schedule all that in and there's no restrictions. And there's also now as well the enhanced multi-resource work order management. In October, Microsoft released the concept of crews. Before crews, it was just based on individual resource. They realized that was a limitation, so they brought in crews. Now they've enhanced that even further so that those crews can be multiple different crews. You can combine crews to work together on any one issue and also split crews up and bring in Scott from one team, Adam from another team, and Troy from another team to go and work on that particular project. So that's all some nice new features coming down in field service. And this is how the scheduling app would work and how it looks. Okay, how was everyone doing?
I'm having a great time.
Great, thanks, Scott. Portals. Anyone use the Dynamics CRM portals? It's a great tool for self-serve. It's a way to leverage all that Dynamics data that sits within that kind of repository and allows you to surface some of it to the web, and also then allows your customers to input data straight into Dynamics self-serve. These are some of the new features that are coming. So there's a new portal maintenance mode. Currently, if you want to make any changes to a portal, you kind of got to just take the website down and your end users just get this not a very nice message that basically just says the server's down. Well, Microsoft have kind of taken, a lot of feedback from the community and said that's not very good. So there's now this new page that says we're in maintenance mode. Please come back in a while. Anyone uses Home Depot Canada, you'll know what that looks like. Every time I go on that website, I'm always getting that page. Power BI is now supported. You can now publish a report to the web and have that embedded in your portal. So that's great if you have got regulatory requirements where you need to publish your SLAs, how well you do on answering phone calls in a customer engagement context. Now you can use a Power BI to display all that information contextually to your end user. There's nice new self-service diagnostic messages within the portal that help you identify whether there's an issue with a content snippet versus a web template. Perhaps some of your JavaScript or Liquid is wrong. Using this self-service diagnostic tool helps you identify some of those issues. That's more for your admin people, your IT team who may work with portals. Certainly very helpful for someone like myself. I found that very good. You can display external data from other systems now in the portal as well. So that was a previous limitation that's now been removed. And if you've got data in, say, GP, for example, you may have, and you may want to surface that to the web. Using this new display external data connector, we can take some of that data from GP and show that in the portal if that's what you wanted to do. And then you've got this thing here at the bottom called Starter Poll. And Microsoft, this was kind of just dropped in a little bit under the radar, but what does it mean? So if we look back at our common data service that we talked about earlier, and we think about our model-driven apps, and we go back to this licensing concept of, well, you might not need sales, you might not need customer engagement, you might just need an XRM, and you might be able to conceivably get away with a Powerups 2. Not get away, but a Powerups 2 license might be sufficient for you. If that's the case, and you have still need some self-serve around that, a starter poll is designed to help you. So it's there to work with the model-driven apps that sit on top of the common data service that aren't part of Dynamics 365, but you still get a self-service website for your end user. Or it could be an intranet for internal users, or it could even be a partner portal for external people as well, for your suppliers or your field service technicians or your vendors. So that's all very cool. Again, if you want to know anything more about the portals, please get in touch with us and we can talk to you about your requirements. And if you want to know what is Dynamics Portals, if you go to our Endeavour CRM website, Endeavour365.ca, that whole website is built using CRM portals. It's a great example of what can be done. Basically, the limit is your imagination. It's a great content management tool. A little bit here about project service automation and project. There wasn't a lot in the April 2019 release around project service automation. It got the whole industry talking. You can imagine it. Well, Microsoft has since sent out a press release that kind of clarifies what's happening. And basically what they're doing is they are rebuilding the whole project service from the ground up on top of the common data service. So all that contextual information from Business Central, from Microsoft Dynamics 365, all that data now is sitting on the same server as project. So moving forward, we think middle of this year, you'll be able to access project service automation and project and have all those cool new features around project management all within one app connected to all those different data sources, taking advantage of Powerups, taking advantage of Flow. That's an exciting update that I know a number of our clients are very excited about. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for a very long time. So let's have a bit of a time check.
Half an hour. Yeah, about a half an
Wow.
hour. Fantastic. You're halfway through, Adam. And we'll have some time for question and answers as well.
Perfect. So we've looked at what's the new look for CRM. We've looked at sales, customer engagement, field service marketing, project service automation, and portals. Now, I want to talk about the Power Platform. What is the Power Platform? Well, it's Microsoft Flow. It's Powerups that we've already talked about, and it's Power BI. And those three apps now combined are probably the three most powerful tools in the whole Microsoft stack for any business owner, IT professional, wanting to move data around. Why? Well, Powerups you already know about, but Flow, what is Flow? Well, Flow helps you automate business processes. Think of it as workflow. Any of you who use Microsoft Dynamics currently will know there's a nice workflow engine that helps you automate different tasks. Well, Flow's like that, but just kind of taken to the next level. Instead of hiring a developer to write complicated API queries, if you don't know what an API is, then Flow is definitely for you. Flow comes out of the box with hundreds of connectors, including Outlook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Common Data Service, D365, Business Central, so many more to go on and on. What it is that they are a codeless solution to moving data between applications or within an application. So using Flow, we can, in many cases, replace custom plugin development. So currently, you might have to go out and pay for a developer to come in, write a whole heap of stuff that then gets imported into Dynamics as a plugin, and then moving down the line, either that developer moves on to another firm, or maybe it was done by a partner and you're now no longer working with that partner. Sometimes getting access to that plugin code can be pretty difficult because it's not stored on the server. It's kind of not anywhere, really. It's just back on the guy's computer and he needs to install it again. So we've come across many clients who have had issues getting hold of or working with plugin code written by someone else. Flow gets around that by kind of allowing you to build these custom plugins. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Is Dynamics 365 out of the box, the out-of-the-box workflow, it can't update child records from a parent record. So say there's a change of the parent, those children records can't be updated. A real example of that is when I'm a parent and I have a contact record in Dynamics. I have a wife who is a child record of my account, of my contact, and I've got 2 young children who are also children of myself. And I go into Dynamics 365 as a user, I log into the portal and I update my address. That updates me, fine. But I would need plugin code to then go in and update my wife's address and my children's address. It just, using Flow, we can handle that with ease now using a codeless solution that any system administrator or customizer can handle, can look at, can view, can look at error logs, all within the Office 365 ecosystem. Flows are made up of 2 parts, a trigger and an action, and can be as complicated or as simple as the business requirement calls for. You can even have a flow button on a mobile device that can be a trigger to perform an action. So you could have a timesheet in Excel. You can specify what those data columns are, have them attached to a flow button. You just type in that I worked for McDonald's for 3 hours on Saturday, hit update, and that would automatically populate that data in Flow, in Excel. So me and my wife, I built one for logging our expenses every time we spend money. She's always spending money. She's terrible. Every time she spends money, we log it in this little Excel sheet and it updates our budget. It's brilliant. So you can use it for any reason, really. And then using Flow and Powerups together, well, mind blown. The opportunities are endless. And you can speak to us here at Endeavour and we'll help you explore some of those ideas and even show you some demonstrations as well. So these are some of the connectors that Flow has. As you can see, it's pretty endless. And you can see there Business Central. So you could have record created in Business Central, update record in Microsoft Dynamics. Not a problem. Very easy to do. And this is how it looks. It is drag and drop, codeless solution. Just requires you to understand what it is you want to do, and then you can go away and build it. It's beautiful. So, Microsoft Teams. What's Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is replacing Skype for Business. Skype for Business was great for its time. It was great for chatting and great for video calling. It wasn't great for collaboration. Microsoft Teams brings collaboration into one big unifying interface that you can embed Dynamics 365 within. So you could be working on opportunity with 3 or 4 of the sales guys, and all of you could collaborate against that opportunity within Teams, talk about it, share documents in SharePoint, have a OneNote file where you can all doodle and draw stuff against. You could have Planner linked to that team so you can all give each other tasks assigned to you and monitor how that task, how that plan is looking against that project, all the while having all that contextual information from Dynamics put into Teams for you. There's also a chatbot built into Teams, allowing you to go in, ask the chatbot different questions. It will then go to Dynamics and bring back the answer for you, whether that's bringing you back an account, bringing you back a contact, an opportunity, a case. And because it's using that chatbot technology, it's using all that cognitive intelligence that Microsoft have got up in the cloud to understand what it is you're writing and perform that search contextually. So if you misspell a name, it kind of doesn't matter. It still knows where to go and look and bring you back a number of different options for you to decide on which is the right one, which one's nearest. From April onwards, you'll be able to embed those beautiful Power-Ups that I was talking about, those Canvas apps. Now be able to embed those in Teams. Microsoft have got one called, what's it called? It's called, I think it's called Meeting. When you have a meeting, you open up this Power-Up. You can take notes against the Power-Up. It gives you a list of all the attendees. You can attach screenshots. You can doodle against it. Give yourself tasks. Those tasks will automatically be added to your planner. And when you send it, the person who you're on the meeting with will get an updated copy of all your notes. Everything will then be put against the planner. The documents will be stored against that in Teams. All of that done beautifully from within Teams as well. So you don't have to leave it, all your meetings in one place. And you can have a flow button as well. So it could be you're having a chat with someone and they say, can we have a meeting? There could be a button in Flow that just says, click this, schedule a meeting, and it puts something in your Outlook calendar. It's all built on the common data service. Think about that. Outlook, common data service. Excel, common data service. SharePoint, common data service. Teams, common data service. All of a sudden, the whole ecosystem of Microsoft just opens wide. Power BI. So we've talked a lot now about moving data, how Flow can move data, Powerups can surface data and let you interact with it. But perhaps you just need a report against it. And you've got lots of different line of business applications that you don't want to double up, but you want to report against. That's where Power BI comes in. It can handle connecting to thousands of different data connectors, including SQL databases. And you can bring all that data into one dashboard from all those different sources and show it against each other with different slices, different context, drill down, entirely up to you. Again, contact us here at Endeavour. We'll go through your reporting requirements and help you build that out. Some licensing things around Power BI to note is if you want to build your own dashboard for you to consume, it's free. It won't cost you a penny. Just download the app. If you want to share it with anyone else or you want to consume someone else's report, then you're going to get a Power BI Pro license, which is about $9 to $12 a month. I can't remember the exact price, but I'm sure Scott would update you.
$12.80 Canadian.
There we go, $12.80 Canadian. And you can publish to the web for free as well. So if it's not sensitive information, you can build a dashboard, publish it to the web, and host it on your CRM portal. Okay, so I'm sure we've got some super users on the line, people who interface with the system, and I've got some updates for you coming as well. So in public preview currently, and ready for a major rollout in April, is the new WYSIWYG form editor. As you can see there, it's pretty jazzy. You can see what your form will look like in real time as you add fields and as you add tabs and sections to it. Not like before where it was just the blocks. You can also see what it'll look like across different devices and screen sizes. So you can drag and draw, you can drag around the screen. You can specify how will it look on mobile, how will it look on tablet. It's all really nice. And the concept as well of dragging and dropping the fields around that form and being able to interact with them, all within this nice new interface. It's pretty cool. But even better than that is the new form designer. Anyone who's built a form for themselves, a custom view, sorry, it's a view designer, isn't it? Yeah. Anyone who's built a custom view, anyone who's worked in advanced find, knows how frustrating creating views in Dynamics can be, particularly when we're working with filters, because we don't always know what the data is. Well, in the new form designer, we see the data as we're adding columns in real time. As we're filtering, we see it update. You can add a column really easily. You can drag that column around, super simple. It's very nice. And this is a little kind of GIF of how it happens. And let me tell you, it is that simple. It's the only way I build views now because it just saves me so much time. So, upgrades and migration. Everything I've been talking about today is all Dynamics 365 online. Version 10 is the new update that's coming. Since 2015, when Microsoft launched Dynamics 365, there's been over 150 updates. 150 updates, that's practically one a week. Updates to the system with some major updates twice a year now, every April, every October. Big releases happen. Now, think about that for a second if you're on 2011, or you're on 2013, or 2016 on-prem, even D365 on-prem. You're having to look after those servers, and are your hand on heart, is your IT team updating that server 150 times since 2015? The answer likely is no. And why are Microsoft doing that? Well, Microsoft's doing that because obviously they're fixing bugs, number one. Two, they're making incremental changes. Literally, every time I go into Dynamics, I see something new added. which can be frustrating, but also can be super exciting as well, because it usually is something that the community's been crying out for that's never been there, such as auto-numbering. Such a simple idea, auto-numbering, was never there. So you had to use all these different solutions to get around that. Now it's there. I went in one day and there it was, ready for me to use. It was brilliant. But then most of all, some of these 150 updates around security. We all know the cyber threat grows all the time. Microsoft invests billions in their security, and they're always patching these security loopholes in their whole infrastructure. You get advantage of that if you jump up to D365 in the cloud. Another common thing we hear, or we used to hear a lot, about why companies here in Canada didn't want to get into the cloud is because we didn't have any data centers here, and no one was confident that that data would be stored in Canada. Now you can be confident that it is. Microsoft opened 2 data centers, one in the Canada East region and one in Canada Central. So you're now guaranteed that your data is safe, secure in Canada. So that kind of hopefully mitigates some of those risks that were there before. That coupled in with the fact that you're getting all these 150 updates constantly every week, fixing those security loopholes, your data has never been safer. And you're backed by the agreement you've got with Microsoft for that data. So if you're on 2011, 13, 15, 16, and you want to get up to Dynamics 365, there is a little bit of an upgrade path there for you to get up there. And again, if you can contact us and we can help and talk you through that. If you're on 2011, you've got to get up to at least 2015 in order to migrate to Dynamics. But there is an upgrade path there. If you're on on-prem D365, you'll be on version 8. You can get up to version 9. Version 10 won't be available straight away. That's the April release, everything we've talked about here. But moving down the line, we think some of those changes will come to on-prem, but certainly not all of them. And at the moment, it's very hard to say what will and what won't. So, and if you are on CRM Online, D365, the majority of the changes we've discussed today, they take advantage of the new UI. And I know many of our customers are still using the old UI. So in order to take advantage of some of these new features, we'll need to migrate you to the new UI. And that just means we need to look at some of your forms, help you rationalize those forms so that you take advantage of the new form layout and it doesn't break anything. And then also look at what was deprecated from the old UI into the new UI and where we can take advantage of some of the new functionality that we get out of the box in the new UI to help you. Again, if you're interested in any of this, reach out to us. Scott's got all the links and we can have that discussion and we'll help you talk through and plan out your migration or your upgrade as required. And I think, Scott, that's me.
You got it. So next steps, reach out to Endeavour. You can find us online. You can also reach out directly to Trish, James, or Steve, depending on whether or not you're a current client or future prospective client. And happy to talk about strategy and get you in touch with Adam and others on our CRM team. A question that I have, when will people start seeing all the new stuff? Is that happening immediately on April 1st or is it next?
It's phased in and it's happening right now. We're seeing updates happening in March right now. It's kind of a continual process. But if you do go to the Microsoft website and type in April 19 release, there is a handy little kind of graph that shows you when some of these releases may be coming down the pipe. They've all got kind of estimated times, but everything I spoke about today will be released by September 2019, guaranteed.
Okay, so the April is more of the celebration date of stuff that's in and around April, and then released a little bit before, a little bit during, a little bit after. Correct.
And then what I didn't mention is now Microsoft have moved to a bi-yearly major update cycle. So there's a big update cycle in April and a big update cycle in October. So expect to start seeing the October release notes released around August time about what's coming from October.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, I don't see any more questions there. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to talking with you as you continue on with your CRM journey.
Thank you, everyone.